Hey, what up, y'all? You got the Sarge here. So, got a little trip report here for you of how my little soiree went down there in Shreveport the other day. Uh, First off, let me say I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. I know yours truly did. I made it down to Alabama and had a great Thanksgiving with my family down there with my daughter, my son, both my son. We had a great time. I had a great time. So, yeah. That being said, so as you know, those of you that's been following me a little bit there, now I was getting ready for. I was planning a drive-by in Shreveport, and the idea was to go down there to Shreveport. Just gonna stop in for a quick overnight. I use my comp, and cause Shreveport, as you know, if you don't know, uh, Shreveport is located right on I-20, and all you got to do is literally just get off the highway exit, and bam, you see the casino from the highway. So it's right there. So anyhow, my game plan was to go down there and try to make a quick $1,000, a quick hit and run on my way down to Huntsville, Alabama for Thanksgiving with my daughter, with the family. And so here's how it played out. So we got in down there right about Tuesday evening, and got settled into me and my wife got settled into Sam's Town. Of course, the room was comp, no issue there. We even had a comp for food, so that was good. So we were set all around. All right, so we got in there. We pulled up right about two, no, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the drive down there was easy, no traffic, everything flowed smoothly. Got in there, like I said, we got in there right at 3:30, and yeah. Okay, before I get a little too far down the road, Alfredo, Texas crap shooter, big shout out to my man Alfredo, Texas crap shooter. He had linked me up with a couple of guys down in Shreveport, a fellow by the name of Mark and Alan that heard I was coming through and wanted to hook up with me and do a little shooting. So, we made that happen. We exchanged numbers and all that stuff. So, when I got in down there, I text those guys and let them know, hey, I'm in, and over here at Sam's Town. I think they were next door at Margaritaville. So, once my wife and I got settled in, we came downstairs, and I text those guys and told them, hey, I'll be hitting the table shortly. So they said, okay. They said, we'll see you in a few. So I was like, all right. So went downtown to check out the table. 14-foot behemoth. And it was, I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say it's probably about a 7, 8-ish. It had a pretty good bounce. But here's the kicker. It was a $5 table. Okay, it was a $5. Yes, Sam's Town. Okay, down there in Shreveport, you can still find $5 table during the week. That is. So anyhow, walked up to the table. My wife went to go hit the slots, and I was kind of trying to wait for the guys to come from next door in Margaritaville to hook up with Mark and Alan. And I must say, two great gentlemen. It was a pleasure meeting them. Once we finally hooked up and all that stuff, and I'll tell you how that played out in a minute, but I just want to say those are two outstanding gentlemen. Look forward to shooting with them, playing with them in the future, and we had a great time there. All right, so here's how it went down. I went over to the table, bought in for like $200, and I'm thinking, okay, this is my first roll of the day. I'm gonna take it easy. Actually, the table was it was about I almost said the table was a full table, but however, I was still able to get my spot at stick left two, stick right two, which was perfect. So went over, got my spot, bought them for $200, and I commenced to the dice went around, and it was maybe about 4 shooters before it got to me. I didn't take action on the two first guys. One guy had a pretty decent roll of about 10 rolls, missed out on that. The next guy, I went 6-8 on him. Then the dice came down on the other side of the table, and I went 6-8 on the two guys next to me, who also had probably about a nice decent hand of maybe 3-5. Then the guy next to me, I think he PSO'd, so no issues there. Dice finally came to me. I'm like, okay, it's my first roll out of the day. Let me qualify the shooter before. Again, you guys know my game plan was to go 920 if the conditions was ideal. 920, 960 across, only if the conditions were ideal. The conditions were not ideal. We had a full table packed with people. That wasn't happening, so I just decided, before I even think about, this grave digger shit going 960 across, like Kate says, I was like, first off, let me qualify the shooter and make sure, that I got my bearings intact. So, and by saying that, in my mind, what I was thinking, until I can make at least 10 good toss, hit a couple points in there, show some consistency of the dice, hitting the same spot, or laying down like 2 flat tires, I wasn't willing to wager any serious money. So anyhow, like I said, I had bought him for $200, so I go like 66 inside, just for the hell of it, and just say, okay, let me see how this goes. No, not even 66. I think it was 44 inside, because it was a $5 table. So like, okay, and I commenced to roll, and got my grip down, picked up first dice, first landed, a little bouncy. I was like, okay. I was like, probably just a little nervous tension or whatever. And next toss landed. The point was like 6. Next toss 8. Next toss a 9. Hit the 6 quickly. Dispensed of that. Set a point of 8. Came back, hit the 8. By that time, okay, the 2 gentlemen, Mark, and I call him Mark from Shreveport. Mark from Shreveport and Alan walked in, and they was like, "Hey, Sarge," I was like, "Oh, okay." And you can't miss Mark. That was the first time I met him, but I'll tell you what, the guy stands 6'5". Okay, you're not gonna miss Mark anytime he walks in a place. So there's a pretty big fella, and then the other guy, his partner Alan, is a nice gentleman. And they both came in, shook my hand mid roll. They didn't shake my hand. We just kind of exchanged pleasantries because I was in the midst of a roll. I was like, hey, and so anyhow, this was my 5th roll, and then I just started, setting point. The point was 8. Came back a couple roll later, hit the 8. Went back, set the point of 9. Hit the point was 10. Couple rolls later, hit the 10. Quickly had the 6 and 8 pressed up to to 60, and then the 5 and 9 started getting up there to 50. Basically everything went from red to green, and the idea was to get to black. And I was like, okay, but again, all I was trying to do was get 10 good rolls in to qualify the shooter, see how it was doing. At this stage in the game, I was probably on roll 15 and looking good, hitting points, but just hitting box numbers. And oh, something I need to say too, down in Samstown, the max you can go, and I found that out when I tried to go 10-5-10, is 5-5-5. That's the most they'll let you put on the ATS. You can't go any higher than 5-5-5 at Samstown Casino. Maybe it might have been a weekday thing. Maybe on the weekend they raised it up, but when I was there, the most they would let you bet is 5-5-5. So you could bet 1-1-1, 2-2-2, whatever. 5-5-5 was the max bet in the ATS, and of course I was up for 5-5-5. So, and I think I hit all the numbers. Needed like I think I needed like 3 or something to hit the small, and the 16, 17 roll, and I threw a come out 7, reset the ATS, and kept on going. And anyhow, when all was said and done, okay, that roll, okay, I got the 6 and 8 up to 105, or not 105 to 90, okay, collected 2 black chip on those, and let's see, the 5 and 9 was at 75. Remember, I started from 44 inside and sprawled out, covered all the numbers, had everything green, and was just, this was the first roll of the day since I got there. So I wasn't really expecting anything, so I really wasn't, I pressed my bets up, but really wasn't looking for trying to do any serious damage, just trying to get dialed in and qualify the shooter. So, which, here I am, roll, 20 plus, and I'm rolling, and the dice are landing. started not laying down like 2 flat tires, but they was laying down pretty close, but it was a bouncy table, which even Cashier Cage will tell you that on a bouncy table, well, you watch him throwing neoprene, so on the Neo, the dice will stay laid down, but you'll get a little roll erraticness to them. So, but I wanted to see him lay down proper, because this wasn't closed cell foam or something. This was just just a pretty bouncy table, but not too bad. Anyhow, so all that being said, I reset the ATS, went on to roll, never hit the bonuses, but finally 7'd out. And when I 7'd out, I finally went over and talked to Mark and Alan, and I was like, hey guys, how's it going? Shook their hand a bit, and Alan told me he was charting my rolls, okay, and he's like, well, hell, when I came in, I think I probably missed your first 5 rolls, but I counted 27, and I know you was already into it. So my first roll right off the gate was a 31 roll, so not too shabby. And at that point, it was I held them dice for about 45 minutes, because even one of the dealers said to me and said, came to me and said, damn, that was a pretty good roll there, man. That was the best roll we had for the day. And I was like, hey, thank you. So anyhow, I waited for the dice to go around to those gentlemen, and when it got to Mark and Alan, they I think stayed on the roll, stayed on the table for their roll, and I think Mark got on there, had probably maybe about a 5 or 10 roll hand, somewhere in between there. Rolled pretty good. And then I told him, well, hey, I plan to hit, me and the wife want to go next door and check out Bali's. I want to say El Dorado so bad, but the old El Dorado, Bali's next door. So he's like, all right, we'll be right over. So I was like, all right, great. So right after he got through shooting, and I think, not sure if Alan shot. I think he was more spectating. He was just kind of there. I think he had shot earlier, if I remember correctly. I think he said he shot over at Margaritaville and just wasn't doing anything right now. So I was like, okay. So anyhow, I call it up. Like I said, I bought in for 200 and call it up to the tune of was it 5? I think it was 578. So I told the dealers the 78, and I told them I'll take all the 5 blacks. So nice little $300 profit right out the gate. So it's like, okay, I can deal with this. This is not too shabby. But in the back of my mind, I was still hoping for the table to clear up at some point. So now I'm feeling myself because hey, I just had this nice monster roll, and if I can get back, if the table can get clear, guess what? Yep, I was gonna hang it out there and go to 920 across. The idea was to make a quick grand on the drive-through, and I was willing to, you know, just lay it on the line for that bit. Anyhow, that didn't happen. It just didn't happen, cause the conditions. I guess cause it was the holidays too, and people was starting to, you know, crowd into the casino a bit. It wasn't too crowded, but they were starting to slowly trickle in. Anyhow, we went next door. Me and the wife walked over, and Alan and Mark made their way over right next door to Bali's. So we got over there, and all right. So here's where it gets interesting. So we go into Bali's. Of course, the crapless crap table, which is always open, is the only table that's open. I think it was a $10 table, either 10 or 15. So during the weekdays, seem like down there in Shreveport they normally have the table men's pretty low, which is good. So only kicker for me was stick right 2 was occupied. So I was like, ouch, damn, I can't get my spot. So the end was open, so I was like, all right, let me go down here in the end, and you know, I was thinking I could go up in the hook, you know, and stand next to the dealer and toss a par shot, kind of like what I did the last time when I was on the cruise ship. Just you know, go right in that hook and you know, basically shoot. The dice would be going right in front of the box man, literally, you know. However, when I went to the corner, there was one of those rope chains there, and I couldn't go on that side of the table. Okay, couldn't literally go around to where the dealer was at. Like, you know how that little piece sticks out there in the hook that kind of flattens out, so you're looking back. No, couldn't do it. So I was like, okay. So anyhow, by this time the dice have come around. I'm 6'8", and everybody has to come. The dice come to Mark, and I tell you what, and I forgot to mention, Mark is a chop enthusiast. Mark tosses the chopper, and Mark was laying him down pretty good. He still got a little work to do, but his chopper looked very good, very good. I think even Cage would have been impressed. So, and I tell you what, it was a crapless crap table, like I said, and I think I started maybe like 44 inside and kind of spread out with the shooter as he was hitting, and Mark had a 26 roll. Okay, Mark was just killing 6-8 every now and then, an extreme, the 2, the 3, the yo, and so forth. And like, wow, you know. And hey, I'm making money hand over fist. You know, chip rack starting to grow nicely because hey, I'm betting. So anyhow, when Mark finally gets to roll 25 after hitting maybe about 3 or 4 points now, and his toss was looking real good, laying down nicely. The pit boss comes over. Okay, the pit boss comes over and said, "Hey, you can't stretch your hand over anymore." And it was this was kind of ridiculous, cause you know what a stick man is at. Mark hand, like I said, even though he's stands 6'5", and he was throwing the chopper, all he was doing was bringing up his hand and just kind of, you know, releasing the dice. He wasn't reaching nowhere across the stick man, okay? He wasn't doing that. But the pit boss came over and said, "Hey, you can't shoot like that anymore. You need to back up." And Mark was like, "Huh?" So at this point, I knew, and they kind of bickered back and forth. And Mark was like, "Hey, well, where can I put my hand? How about here? Here, 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 and the pit boss like, okay, yeah, there's okay. So it kind of changed the vibes at the table real quickly, and I knew I should have turned my bets off because you know what was coming next. Of course, the next roll on his 26th, 27th roll, Big Red, and I was pressed up pretty good. Left a lot of money out there. However, on mock roll, I made probably about another about 400 or 500 bucks in mock roll. Okay, and then think and Mark was shooting from left stick left 2, somewhere around there. So the dice finally came around to me. I think there was maybe one person between me and Mark. The dice came around to me, and I'm like, okay. I was thinking, pass the dice. I was like, nah, let me try and shoot from the end. See how this goes. Guys, I haven't practiced end shotting in quite a while, but I kind of said, okay, let me try this out. I contorted my body in such a way that it felt like I was throwing a par shot, but instead of from the hook, I was throwing it from the end, and I had my body turned at kind of like a left angle. Me being a lefty, as long as everything's on the left, I'm good. Don't turn me to the right. I'm totally ass backward then. But if I'm turned left, I'm good. So anyhow, I turned my body to the left, put my hand down the table, got a good grip, and the minute the first toss came out, I was like, okay, all right, I can do this. And the dice stayed, the flight of the dice stayed nice and tight. The dice looked like they stayed in pitch. And when they land, I didn't have a bunch of scatter and roll out. I landed them maybe about 2 or 3 inches from the back wall. They dropped in nicely. Again, I don't practice par shot. Okay, guys, I'm straight up chopper. Anyhow, I looked at how them dice was landing. I was like, okay. And I think the point was, okay, first of the set I was using, I went with a 6-2, 2-6. Okay, basically the straight sixes, kissing threes with the straight sixes and just offset. So with that set there, I hit a lot of extremes. So I I made sure I had money on the 3 and the yo, and I think I had the inside covered, and had a nice roll going. I ended up let's see, hit a point, set a point of maybe like 10, came back, hit the 10, set a point of 11, came back, hit the yo. Just a good solid roll. Ended up, when all was said and done, had a 15 roll hand, okay, which was decent. And about that time there, after my roll, I turned to Mark and Alan and told them, guys, hey, I'm about ready to go grab dinner with the wife. Then we're gonna head back next door, and that would probably be it for me. So really, folks, in my whole time down there, I might have shot a total of 3, maybe 4 times, okay, and in that time frame, when all was said and done, I colored up to the tune of I left Shreveport up 500, okay, walked away with 500, and incidentally, that'll probably be the shot that you see on the on my marquee here for this trip report. So that's the 500 that I made down there at Sam's Town. All that being said, everything went like clockwork. Went back over next door, and when we went back after dinner, we did go back next door to Sam's Town where we were staying at, and I got a table bought in for like $100. Was maybe like 50 bucks. By that time they had raised the table limit, so from 5 to like 10 bucks. So I bought in, and I first stick left, stick right 2 was taken because I wanted to get back on the table and really get a feel for trying to lay the dice down, okay? Trying to get a practice session in, basically, to see exactly how the dice were hitting. However, that spot was taken, so the dice came around, I end shotted, had maybe a 4 or 5 roll hand, and then 7'd out. Then the dice went around. So this was the second time for the day I was shooting on that table, but this time was end shot. And since I just end shotted next door at Bali's, I was like, well, let me see, you know, let's see what I can do over here at Sam's Town. But no, didn't quite work out. Then finally, stick right 2 opened back up, and I went to that position, and I think I just went 6-8 on myself, and again, I just wanted to see how the dice were going to react. The whole thing was about trying to get the dice to lay down proper, because I wasn't happy with how the dice were reacting. I had a big monster roll earlier, but there was still a lot of room for improvement, and I really wanted to try and get a feel for that tip, because yes, I will be back down there. So anyhow, I took and got on the table and made a slight adjustment with my mechanic, and next thing you know, boom, I went with a 3V, started hitting hard 6, 6, 8, 6, 8, and had maybe an 8 roll hand, but you know what? It was all 6 and 8 only with a 3V. So, and they laid down proper. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, it wasn't no monster roll or anything. It was just a nice solid roll of primary hits, which is what I was looking for. All that being said, I think I colored up to the tune of, got my $100 back, and colored up for maybe 150. I told her the deal was 25, and I was like, that was it. I called it a night, and yeah, then me and the wife headed up to the room, got some sleep, and 4 o'clock the next morning, we was on the road heading to Huntsville, Alabama for Thanksgiving. Had a ball in Shreveport, guys. It was real nice. Look forward to doing it again. Thanksgiving was great. Had a beautiful Thanksgiving with my family, with my daughter down there in Bama, and yeah, linking up with Mark and Alan down there in Shreveport. Those 2 gentlemen, we're now great friends. Look forward to seeing them and shooting with them again sometime here in the near future. And what can I say, man? This is why we practice, so we can go in the casino and hopefully make some money for ourselves and make a little change for our friends, and you know, have fun while doing it. All right, guys. Just like I said, just been a quick trip report. Let you know how it went down in Shreveport. So there you go, Sarge, up 500 on my drive-by to Shreveport. Didn't quite hit the goal of 1,000, but hey, you know what? A win is a win. I'll take it. Stay safe, my peeps. Sarge out.